Welcome to UTB Blogcast number 40. We made it to 40. Got off to a late start. Got off to a late start. I'm going to blame Dave just because I can. But we got Dave, we got Bartron, and we've got Roy here. Bartron looks a little frozen.
Yeah, like Dave last week.
He's a Disney movie.
Well, to start off, start with the Priv beta and what we think about that, I suppose. Just kind of hit us real quick, didn't it? Was it announced on Friday? Was it Friday?
Yeah, Michael Clawley tweeted on Twitter that because it's April Fool's, he will not talk about the Priv beta, but 3 days after it happened.
Right.
Yep. And I was kind of surprised when it was first announced because the statement was, I think, Shop BlackBerry units and Carphone Warehouse and Amazon, I think, were going to be the first round of people invited, those users, if they were so inclined. And when as soon as we blogged about signing up, even if you weren't in those categories, I signed up right away because I like to read the blogs. But anyway, and I was expecting to not get picked at all. And funny, a whole pile of people got invited in this morning, and glad to say that I was one of them, and a whole bunch of people in the group were included as well. So I'm impressed. I got mine off of a carrier, TELUS, just a regular purchase, and so I wasn't expecting that. And it occurs to me that the membership or the beta tester numbers is going to be fairly large. I think they'll get a lot of good feedback out of this.
It's looking to me like just about everyone, doesn't it? I mean, like I was late. I saw the Shop BlackBerry only, and
Right.
I got mine through a carrier, and I'm used to not getting into betas, so I didn't even sign up for it until this morning. So we'll see if I ever make it into it. But I know just from those that we know, I mean, do we know anybody besides me that hasn't got in that signed up for it?
Not well.
No.
I don't know. I haven't checked all the groups, especially the ones I got kicked out of. But I think everyone except for Brad, who signed up late, and that's such a sad story, man. You're such a sad sack.
I
think everyone I know in our groups that has a Priv, I think I saw them in there. I think.
Well, you know what? There's actually someone new that everyone should be following on Twitter. He's not new, but somebody that we should all take notice of, and his name is Nathan Webster. It's Nathan Webster BB is his handle, and he is the manager of the BlackBerry beta program team. I'm reading his little Twitter thing here. It says, employee of 9 years, father, husband, lifelong Toronto Blue Jays fan, for all you baseball lovers out there. But if you look at his tweets, he's been keeping updates, and I didn't look at this until right now. 10 hours ago, he says that all Shop BB, Amazon, Bell, Rogers, TELUS, and T-Mobile registrations have all now been invited to join the Priv Marshmallow Beta.
That's huge.
What is the
Yes.
Twitter name?
Nathan Webster BB. It's at Nathan Webster BB. And he's been keeping kind of a running total here. 2 days ago, he responded to DJ, don't worry, we haven't crossed anyone off yet. So, I mean, it's really looking like, I'm really liking this. It's looking like they're letting those in that want in. I'm thinking this may just be the biggest beta that has ever happened.
Yeah.
And I mean, there would be a great reason for this. It's because of carriers withholding updates. You know, BlackBerry can push betas to their users, but I mean, honestly, we know that when they push out that update, not everyone's going to get it right away. I mean, I just know, like myself on AT&T, I can expect a long wait before I get it.
Yeah.
And I mean, this may just be a way to help out those of us that are in that predicament and that care. You know, I mean, somebody that walks in off the street, knows nothing about BlackBerry, doesn't follow the tech world, wouldn't even know that there is a new update, and wouldn't be too upset about not getting it. But all of us geeks, we know it's there. We want it as fast as possible. This may be a way for BlackBerry to get it to all of us.
It's basically BlackBerry released the Marshmallow update to the Priv. The beta version, but they actually updated the Priv to a Marshmallow. So here we get it.
We've been wanting direct updates from BlackBerry. Looks like this is the best method.
Yeah, I guess we'll see what the format is. I don't know whether it's going to be OTA or a file that's locked to your serial number. Everybody had to put their serial numbers in, so not too sure. And I didn't see the Nathan guy in the groups, but anyway, it's starting to look fairly active, so really looking forward to it. And I'm just glad that, well, I'll preface this. In the other beta programs, was easily done without fear, and the updates that we got and the new versions that we got, for me, they worked quite flawlessly, so I have no fear in doing this on my Priv. And even if something does go interestingly sideways, I can happily stick my SIM card in my passport and carry on.
Okay. I can tell you that BlackBerry
Happily.
BlackBerry testing the Marshmallow over a month now. I think Shlomi got the Marshmallow for 3 or 4 weeks. He's Priv.
Is that right?
Yeah, he sent me screenshots of his Priv with the Marshmallow.
Was he bragging like with his tongue out, or? Yeah.
No, just tease me.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. I hate that guy.
Yeah, just returned from Amsterdam. He's been in a good technology conference.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's about all the
Yeah.
baloney I got about it. But anyway, it's imminent, I guess. I'd suggest that there wouldn't be more than about a 3-week or a month beta testing phase, because usually they're ready to roll unless somebody catches something obnoxious. So
I just don't imagine it's going to be much of a beta, to be honest. I mean, just like Roy said, we know that they have been testing. It has been out there. I really think this is just a way to appease us. You know, those that have been complaining that we don't have it. And I mean, realistically, BlackBerry knows that they can release it. It doesn't mean that it's going to get to us. I kind of wonder if those autoloaders that they put on their site was kind of intended for that when they need it. This beta may be intended for this if they need it. I mean, BlackBerry, we've all been demanding that BlackBerry find a way around the carriers, and it looks like they're doing that. You know, perhaps with the beta, perhaps with the autoloaders, perhaps with the new deal that came up today, which I don't have on my screen anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Fast Telecom, I believe.
Yeah, Fast Telecom. a new way. And you know, this isn't the first distributor that BlackBerry's used, but I mean it's new.
No, it's the fast one.
Yeah,
not the first. Get it right.
Quickest.
Yeah, it's the
fastest one.
Fast.
well, BlackBerry can't get support from the carriers, and that was one of the things that Chin very overtly referred to during the earnings call. And so, I mean, they've already done this with Amazon. Where we were just talking before we started, was it the Carphone warehouse in the UK? They're just a retailer, right? They're not a carrier.
No.
And BlackBerry's selling through them, and now this. BlackBerry's thinking outside the box. They're doing things. I mean, they're not Apple. They don't have the money. They can't open up their own retail stores. They're not Samsung. They can't offer spiffs for every device sold to carrier agents. They're doing what they can, and I think this is awesome that they're actually doing something new.
Well, yeah, opening up the beta to as many people as I think, or we guess, or we see that the number is a huge statement in and of itself, with all the people, I'll use the polite word, sniveling that it's not here yet, and then actually giving it to everybody sort of early before they release it, you know, speaks volumes. I mean, it's like they're listening.
Anything there, guys? Anyone want to talk about this new deal that we got today with Fast Telecom?
I didn't really know much about them before the announcement. It was kind of funny. I don't know whether it's an event kind of thing for the cameras, seeing pictures of Chen signing the deal with them, because normally a CEO, you kind of think that normally a CEO might not be doing that personally, but hey, if it's a photo op, it's a photo op. What the hell, I guess. I think they're a Kuwaiti originally.
Yeah, the biggest
Kuwaiti
ISP
origin.
provider.
Yeah. I don't know how far their reach is. I guess the suggestion is UAE and Northern Africa, is it?
And Middle East,
Middle East,
Jordan,
Northern
Lebanon, all of those countries, Bahrain.
Yeah, so, you know, to me, it's like it's a huge distribution partner or arm or whatever, and anything that BlackBerry can do to get the devices in more channels is a good thing. You know, availability is a good thing. Of course, advertising is a good thing, but that comes in you know, social media waves these days, as opposed to your average print or television type advertising. So I don't know. You can't consider it anything but a good thing. Who's to know how many units it'll push? Not sure. Don't know. Can't guess on that one.
I'm not really familiar with that part of the world. Is that an area where you could see people buying direct more so than retail, where they need to go into a store and play with it, like here?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I sort of view it as kind of like in here it would be
I'm from the
micro.
Middle East, people.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's hear what reality Roy has to say.
Okay, if you talk about Jordan and Lebanon and these countries, very poor countries, I don't know if people can buy Priv or devices like that, but the rich people in those countries are really rich, very, very rich, and those people can buy this device. And the gold version or whatever BlackBerry can sell them. I think those markets are for the mid-range markets. They are not rich countries, so if BlackBerry can bring a mid-range device, it can be successful there.
Okay, but looking at Fast Telecom, I sort of look at them as a distribution partner, kind of like in Canada, and I think the USA, and Ingram Micro might be, where I, as a consumer, can't walk up to an Ingram Micro location and purchase something. I have to be a value-added reseller or retailer of some sort to purchase these pieces of equipment.
It's like Exclusive Networks and Axel Telecom in Israel. Fast Telecom will buy devices from BlackBerry and will choose a retailer or
that's right.
Any opportunity to sell BlackBerries in those countries. And Fast Telecom will be the one marketing, will invest in marketing, and they have money to do it more than BlackBerry. So
right. Okay, so
you will see marketing.
That could be huge. That could be really huge.
Yeah, it's whatever the Radio Shack or Circuit City equivalents are in those areas. Those they're going to go to Fast Telecom to buy these devices to resell them retail.
They are ISP, so if you are connect to them as a customer, they can provide you a device. They can sell you an ISP contract with a BlackBerry Priv device for this amount of money. So
right.
Can be good.
Yeah. No, nothing bad to talk about there. That's a good thing.
We kind of got into a discussion earlier today. I think Bartron and I and Bambino were actually talking, because I know, and it's been, a few months now, Bartron, that you brought up how great it would be to just buy direct and do away with carriers altogether. I was more on the side of, maybe it's been that long, but I was more on the side that we need them in carrier stores. Like, here, people need to go play with the devices in order to use them, and like in my dream world, my perfect world would be BlackBerry making a deal with like a Best Buy or a Costco and selling direct through them, bypassing the carriers altogether. We came up with lots of pluses, and Bambino was giving me lots of reasons why it couldn't work, which he was right on a lot of them, more than likely.
Well, what I proposed, I actually wrote a few blog posts about it. It was basically what you're saying, was that instead of having carriers sell it, we buy it, basically the same model as we have with computers and ISPs. You go to an electronics store, you buy your phone, you either pay it all up front, or you borrow the money, or you arrange for financing, however it is, and then you go and sign your service contract or whatever, get your service somewhere else from whichever carrier you wanted. The thing is, it wouldn't have worked. It couldn't work back then because here in North America, anyways, there was still people are heavily using a lot of phone subsidies a lot, signing 2-year contracts, and in exchange, they only have to pay $200 for a $600 phone. And but now, as we discussed in the group, that's pretty much gone in North America.
Yeah,
at least Canada,
subsidies are gone in the U.S.
In Canada as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, I was just saying.
Really, they're offering what you're saying is basically a loan, is what they've been offering.
Right.
It's financing, which is the way it is, and in Canada it's even better because the big three, as they're called, they would, if you did arrange for that, if you did not use or get a subsidized phone, they would give you a lower monthly rate on your service, which is the way it should be. So that's now I think it is the time. Now I think they can have a better chance of switching to that model. When I say they, I'm talking BlackBerry. again, the big key now is to arrange for financing. Get it into the electronic stores like Best Buy, have them sell it the same way, separate from their service contracts or services, same way they sell their laptops, separate from ISP service, and arrange somehow get financing. Because a lot of people, maybe even most, I don't know what the numbers are.
There's a couple roadblocks in that, which, I mean, number one, where does the financing come from? Could BlackBerry afford to sell a phone today and wait 2 years to get the full cost of that phone back, which is really what a lot of the carriers are doing right now, but they're earning money off of the services, not just the phone devices. And then also those retailers like the Best Buys and the Costcos, they get paid based on the services that they're adding to that line. So, I mean, if you've got a basic phone customer coming in and purchasing another basic phone, well, they're selling that phone, and they're getting whatever gross margin they would get on that. But if they upgrade that customer to a smartphone, they're getting paid on that. They're getting, and I'm hesitant to say it's a percentage of the services. I'm not really sure what that payment is. I just know that they get a payment based on the services that they upgrade that customer. I'm not entirely sure what the actual payment is on that part.
Well, the thing that's coming and is actually already here is online shopping. That
there's a problem with that, Dave. Like,
touch it.
That is the problem. Is exactly what Ian just said. Is you can't touch it. You got to have it there for people to go and play with. There's even, and this is something. It's true. It's totally true. American customers are not going to do that.
It's about look and feel. It's about look and feel. That's a huge selling point of any phone. Is look and feel.
You're talking about you. I'm talking about the people who are replacing us. The people who are replacing us go online shopping and they buy things, and if they don't like it, they ship it back for zero cost to themselves, like the Amazons of this world. It's not a problem. You're making a problem out of nothing.
It is a problem, and I'm going to argue this, because the only people that will blindly buy a phone are iPhonians, and they're the ones that will look at two iPhone 5s and be told one of them is a new one and one's an old one, and they'll, I got to have the new one when it's the same phone. They're the only ones that will blindly, sheepishly do it. But
the Android people who do it judge it entirely on specs.
They judge it on specs. You're absolutely right. And then the majority that would do that, the people that I know that do buy online, are buying it based off of their friends. You know, it's like, okay, he's got one, I've seen it, I played with it. That's not going to help BlackBerry, because I'm telling you, where I live, I have never ran across another BlackBerry 10 phone. The only other time I've sat with other BlackBerry phones where I've seen them in the wild was when I was with Chap and Blackjack. That was it. Market, we can't just depend on online shopping.
It's an avenue that is up and coming. It's here today, and people use it and all the time, and buying things that they never touched, they never felt. They go online, they read reviews, they buy it, they try it, and if they don't like it, they send it back. That happens a billion times a month, and it's an avenue. It's here. It's now. And the people that are replacing us are doing it at a much more rapid rate than we are. I bought an amp that way. I just bought it. I figured it was going to be good, and it did. It was. It is. It cost me, $1,200. I just bought it. It's awesome. Don't have to send it back.
I don't know. I mean, I also think the big selling point of BB10 is the look and feel. Or even not the look. The look you can see in the video. So let's say scrap that. It's the feel. Hey, when BB10 came out, I was on iOS. I liked that BB10. It's okay, it sounds compelling, it sounds pretty good. But I wasn't really sold until I went to the shop, well, we'll say the store, and I actually had a live Z10 out there. And I tried it, and for sure, the feel is what sold me. And you can't get that. So you have someone who thinks Android is great, who thinks iPhone is great. How does BlackBerry then go and convince them to try a BlackBerry? And they've tried already with their advertising. We've seen it in blogs and whatever, telling you the hub is awesome and that, but it's still not working. Telling people how great the hub is and how great these features are is not working. I think the next thing, what really has to go is the feel. Let them try it. Let them try it. Here, try it. And once they try it, I think a lot more will be sold on it.
Yeah. I'm not arguing with the idea that there needs to be some hardware to touch and feel in as many places as possible. All I'm advocating is that online shopping is a real thing that you cannot discount, and they can cohabitate and not replace each other. That's all I'm saying. There's a lot of people that would be happy to try it out and send it back if they don't like it.
That I agree with.
Lots. There's a lot of people that won't buy it unless they can touch and feel it. Fair game.
I just think with the cell phone market, here in the U.S., we are so used to being able to walk into any mall, any carrier store, like any mall we go into, there's 3 or 4 phone kiosks that might be set up for each carrier. It could just be a franchise reseller, but there's 3 or 4, and anyone can go and play with any phone. So I mean, the fact that all those phones are available to us, I just don't see, unless it's somebody like us, a huge fan of a product that wants that product and can't get it otherwise. I don't see somebody walking in off the street buying something unseen, not touched, when they can go see any other phone and pick it up right then and there.
Well, that's fine and dandy, but things are changing, and big box stores or those kinds of stores do start to go away and lose money because of online shopping. That's all I'm saying. Is the reason that here Best Buy, who owned Future Shop, dumped all the Future shops and changed half of them, changed some of them into Best Buys. They dropped those big box retail things because of stuff like online shopping.
Well, that's one of the things that put Best Buy in trouble not too long ago. I don't even know if they've resolved that issue or not. But
right.
what was a very public problem for them, I believe it was, and I'm having to reach way far back here, but I think it was their CEO came out and said it, is that people go into their stores to shop, to window shop, and then they go home and purchase the best price.
Yeah, they go to Amazon or whatever the heck it is and buy it for $50 less.
Yeah, there's a term for that.
Again, they're going into a store and they're touching that product. They're seeing that product. They're shopping, and then they're just going and getting the best price. If that product's not in the store, like BlackBerry is not in the store, they're never even going to consider that.
Yeah, but let's extrapolate. How long is that going to last where people are going to window shop you, not buy from you, and you're still there?
How long is Best Buy going to be around? That's the thing. I mean, I get that. Staples are not Staples. Well, Staples has really shrunk back. Office Depot has shrunk back. I'm naming the people here in the U.S. Circuit City is gone. I mean, maybe Best Buy is short for this world, but as long as there's a Best Buy where I can go in and play with all these items, I mean, that's kind of what I'm talking about. We've got to be profitable now or within the next few quarters. And so I think putting all of your eggs in the online shopping basket isn't going to work, and I think BlackBerry saw that, and I think that's how, through the magic of John Chen and his team and whatever deals he negotiated, we have got finally devices in carrier stores now. But it's still not as widespread as it should be, because like we spoke about on previous blogcasts, they're really only in corporate stores. All the franchisees, I have yet to find a franchisee that has a BlackBerry 10 device in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, I'm not against the box stores. I'm not against that. I like jobs. I like people to be employed. I'm not suggesting that online shopping is the only thing you should ever do. I'm only saying that not everybody's just like you or me or whatever that needs to go touch and feel it. There's again, the people that are replacing us have no fear of buying something and sending it back if they don't like it.
The world
we can cohabitate. It can be good together.
The world is moving from physical stores to online shops. It's cheaper.
But just not fast enough.
Yeah, and you look at Best Buys, those things, and
Dave, we're going to stop you for a minute. We'll come back to this. We have a special guest. We have Abby. You may have seen him on Inside BlackBerry blogs. You may have read his masterful posts. And you want to talk about someone you met this week, Abby?
Oh, yes. My name is Abhishek.
Oh, sorry.
All the guys call me Abhi. Yeah. Oh, I was so excited to meet up John Chen today, about 2 days back. And it was an awesome experience. It's just mind-blowing, and he is so grounded, so humble person. And I'm sure that BlackBerry is in very, very safe hands.
So tell us more. I missed who you met.
John Chen.
It was yeah, John Chen. Yeah. So it was a blue invite that came out. It was from Canadian High Commission, and he was the guest of the Canadian government. He came down to India for the first time, and I had to scramble up tickets and everything just to be there. So it was fun. I mean, like he came down. He was there for about an hour, and he came down and he's mentioned about like he was being made to circulate and see all the high-ups, all the big-time CEOs, long-time customers, all the people who are using BlackBerry, BES, good, including a few guys from the telecom services in India as well, big time, because they are planning to focus on Mover 2, the virtual SIM technology that they are planning. And then
Cool.
it was the usual focus on BlackBerry 10, whether it's going to stay there or not, the usual debate. And everybody was very keen to know that whether the BlackBerry 10 handsets will survive. And then he's also, was very keen to know that whether, we were all very keen to know about his Android strategy and how Priv is selling. So, so that was all about it.
That's awesome. How many people were there, do you think, Abby?
About 35, 40 people, I guess.
Wow, exclusive crew.
Nice.
Way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you get any dirt on Movirtue? I loved it when they bought that technology, and since then I've been waiting for them to implement it into BB10 and BES and maybe apply the virtual SIM to the work side, or if it was a phone that was going to be given out by the company, you might apply the virtual SIM to the personal side. So, but I've been waiting to hear or see some implementation of it. But I'm wondering if you got any dirt on that. Did you hear anything about it?
No, they are still in the process of implementation. They have tied up with one or two carrier companies here in India,
Mm-hmm.
and the buzz is that we are likely to see this maybe end of this quarter or something.
Nice.
So
Well,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
yeah. Well, I can't wait to see what they do with it because like I said, that's a purchase that I think has a lot of wheels. Good one.
I think the main focus of his visit was to push the software side for the Android security for other OEMs. That's the feeling I got. Number one. Number two is that after the exodus of the key people from BlackBerry India, they are very keen to rebuild the team. And I'm due to meet the BlackBerry CEO India, Mr. Narendra Naik, too, shortly, in about, I think, couple of days' time, and then get even more information on how things are progressing.
Do you think John Chen visiting India will affect the sales, affect the carriers to sell more Blackberries?
Good question. I hope so because see, India is a very different market from rest of the world. It's the low end, the mid and the low end devices that are selling like hotcakes, whether we like it or not. The other big problem is that of the mind recall. People are hardly aware of BlackBerry now. I mean, there was a huge market. India had about 20-25% penetration for BlackBerry devices. I'm talking about 5-6 years back, before the Chinese handsets and the Indian manufacturers themselves they started making, the low cost. They started playing the volumes game. And BlackBerry is suffering from lack of advertisements, lack of advertising, lack of mind recall, all those things.
Yeah, well, one of our subjects today was going to be, Chen's statement that he was still absolutely interested in getting 2 mid-range handsets out before the end of this fiscal year. No, not fiscal, but calendar year. And so, Abby, what do you see? I think maybe you already said it, but maybe you should expand on it. People aren't, the masses aren't buying as expensive a handset as the masses are in North America here, I think, anyway. So what do you think is BlackBerry's chances are if they come out with 2 mid-range Android handsets? Is that going to have an effect where you are?
I feel that BlackBerry stands a very good fighting chance. I often give the example of Motorola. Now, Motorola was pretty good at some point in time. I'm talking about almost 6-7 years back. When they had this Razer handset, and it was simply mind-blowing. And likewise, they had carved a niche for themselves in the, while selling Kias as well. So Motorola had a decline in India, and then they adopted the Android-only strategy. They attacked all segments of the market from the low end to the mid end, including some of the so-called premium handsets, and they are quite in the reckoning now. And likewise, BlackBerry also has a fighting chance. The mid-range handsets, I think, would definitely create a mind recall, plus some bit of advertising here and there. That should help. Keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Chen said he wants to invest in companies in India. Do you have any chance or idea in which company he targeted?
I am not having any idea. He said that if it is appealing and if it is of value addition to the company, and if it is affordable, of course, then he would go in for that. But he never spoke about it in the evening when we had met. It was all in the subsequent interviews to the business channels that he was appearing in. So that is it. But I feel that his visit was more to do with rekindling the focus on Asia. He's moving on to, I think, Hong Kong next week. Asia, China, India, China, Hong Kong, and he's also expanding the access in the Middle East, where we have seen just a new partnership with the distribution strategy for South Africa and the African markets as well. So
Yeah, we were just
yeah,
talking about that before you hopped on. And I just, an observation here that's interesting, this road trip he's on reminds me very much of the worldwide road trip John Chen went on when he first signed up. He went everywhere. He talked to large customers, medium-sized to large customers, carriers, anybody who would listen. And so this kind of reminds me of that road trip all over again. That sounds pretty cool.
yes, the focus is obviously, he's definitely aware of the challenges. I had a word with him, a small, mini word of it. He's definitely aware of the challenges, and he needs all the good luck and all the efforts that we are putting into, fight the mind share and people's perceptions and everything. I mean, it's an uphill task, no doubt, but it's worth it. It's worth fighting for it.
Mm-hmm. Right
But
on.
I'll have to take a leave because I have to run for my work. But it was great. Thanks for having me on the show, and it was great to see you all.
Yeah, well, thanks, Abhishek. Enjoy your work day. I hope you don't have to work too hard, but, save a life here and there. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Take care, guys,
Good to
and
see you.
all the very best. Have a
Okay.
Bye, Abby.
See you in groups, buddy.
Thanks for coming on, Abby.
Thanks a lot, Brad. Thank you. Bye.
Well, that was good to finally get him on here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some
anybody
arm
that didn't-
twisting going on.
Yeah. Anybody that didn't quite get who he is, he wrote an amazing blog post about how his BlackBerry Passport helped him in his job, which his job is he is an oncologist, saving lives. What else can you say? And after he wrote that blog post on UTB, he ended up getting profiled by Inside BlackBerry. He got a full write-up on that. So anybody wanting to look more into who he is, just go to Inside BlackBerry, or more preferably UTB, I guess.
Yeah. That
Do a
would be
little
perfect.
search. Up in the corner there, you'll see it right up in the corner.
Yeah.
And he's
So he,
an oncologist, which is not a logist who is on call. It's somebody who works in the medical industry. So get it straight. Yeah.
whoo, whoo.
Or something.
So we talked a little bit about the two devices, right? Anything else you want to add to that about the two new Android devices that we want to see this year?
I don't know. I read some stuff where it was being insinuated that perhaps the Priv might have been an error as a first, like as a debut Android device, being it was, the high-end thing and carried a high price and whatnot. And to, I guess, keep up with the long-standing tradition, I'm going to call bullshit on that. I kind of think that that's the best way to throw your hat in the ring is to chuck a quality piece of equipment out there that is a high-end piece of gear that can hold its head high with the other high-end pieces of gear out there. And I disagree with the price being too much, because I think I even blogged about it when I took, just from a Canadian perspective, you look at what was being offered from an iPhone 6 perspective at that point, or 6S or whatever, and a Samsung 6 Edge. device, and it came in cheaper compared to both of those and had better features and specs than one or the other, depending on what you were discussing. So at a lower price, it's at least as good a phone, maybe better. So I think it was no mistake at all to do that. And I think if you started out with a weak effort, people wouldn't have taken as much notice as they did with the Priv. So coming out with a mid-range handset now is a fine idea. Those that were interested in BlackBerry and their security offerings and antenna capabilities and whatnot, and the fact that it's not a routable unit, whatever, and it comes in at a better price, maybe $200 or $300 less. Nothing wrong with that idea. And I'm out.
Yeah, there's two different directions. I'm sitting here wiping my brain right now because there's two different directions we can go with that.
Sure.
Because we kind of want to touch on what John Shen has said about September. Let's combine these two things because he said basically the same thing he said before about if he cannot make the device business profitable, then he would look at being a software business only, right? Now we've heard that before for a long time. This is the first time he's actually given a time frame. Yeah, and in doing that, he made it perfectly clear that he fully believes that they will be profitable by then. Like he's making that point. But before we get into that, a lot of people have been using that within our community to use that as an excuse to leave. I've seen several people online saying, the future of BlackBerry 10, the future of BlackBerry is uncertain, so I'm running out and I'm getting the S7, or I'm running out and I'm getting the LG. And we've been talking in the group, and maybe we should do it as a blog post or a conversation here, I'm not entirely sure, but a lot of these people are listing these specific phones. Well, I'm uncertain about BlackBerry, so I'm going to run and get this. But when you actually look at what's taking place with the companies and their updates and their security, BlackBerry is winning those. They're not winning those in sales figures, but they're beating them on the updates. Like Samsung I don't believe Samsung is anywhere near up to date on the Android security updates. I know Robert was stating today that someone he knows, he was looking at their phone and their last security update was November of last year. I've got a killer
like
echo
that
coming in.
Yeah, I think that's system-wide.
We look at HTC and their quarterly numbers or annual numbers made BlackBerries look like a huge success.
they're circling the drain, as they say.
The drop that they have had this year, it is like, how can you run out and buy an HTC and think that that's a better choice than BlackBerry right now? BlackBerry's actually on the uptrend. HTC has not just hit bottom, but they're digging now. They're digging a hole. The bottom was not low enough for them.
Yeah.
No, and to be fair, they're the what is it, the M9 or whatever it is. I mean, with the dual speakers and whatnot, that was a pretty decent device. I mean, you got to hand it to those guys for coming out with what I think is kind of a really nice looking phone with some great audio capabilities. I think the Z30 was better audio, but that's just me.
Yeah, it was.
And it's a really cool phone. I really like it, but it just goes to show you that a company of that size and might can fail. And it looks like they're failing, and they're failing a lot harder. I don't know, BlackBerry's gaining, like you said, Brad, and HTC looks like it's failing, which is sad. I don't like to see anybody fail, except Apple. But did I just say that out loud? I'm not sure.
Well,
anyway.
I agree. Nobody wants to see HTC fail. I don't. Like, even if I'm looking at the brands that I would, not mind seeing fail, like Apple or even Samsung. But I mean, HTC, they don't really bother me. They obviously saw how great the Z10 was designed and built their M8 after it. But how anyone can say I'm uncertain about BlackBerry's future, so I'm running to HTC, it doesn't make sense.
HTC is still marketing. And if you're marketing, people think you're alive. They think HTC still a profitable company if you ask people on the street.
Well, it's not. And well,
Yeah,
it's a stigma thing. HTC doesn't have a stigma yet.
Looking at some of those articles that Bigley was posting in our group today about HTC,
the revenue dropped 64%.
Yeah. Did you have the dollar amount there? That the loss? It was extreme.
Yeah, I can dig it up, but basically it dropped 64%, and they have something like I was watching reading on an Android site, someone saying, they're dead, and says, don't say they're dead. They got like $1 billion in cash. They're fine. Really? BlackBerry had over $3 billion in cash, and they had a growing service and software sector, and yet there's BlackBerry's allegedly circling the drain and dying. HTC, which has only that, and their recently released VR, they have $1 billion in cash, and suddenly they're hitting a rough patch. They're not dead. They're just hitting a rough patch.
Why can't they be that generous with BlackBerry when talking about BlackBerry?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's all about perception and stigma. That's right. It's
about those two.
Because HTC runs Android.
Yeah, and they always have, and that's kind of where they screwed up. But there was just too many players, and sure, BlackBerry's part of that now, but their ace in the hole is security, non-rootability, and the ability to get into niche and larger markets because of those increasingly important features. Nobody can deny the increasing need for security and privacy. You can just open up any traditional or computer-based news feed, and every day you're looking at some thing that needs more security and more privacy. Whether people sign into it or not, that's their bloody problem. But there's an increasing need worldwide for security and privacy. Enterprise, governments, it's increasing. It's not decreasing. It will never decrease.
And we lost Bartron again.
Yeah.
But I just want to get the point across again, because I mean we're watching what the market is doing. Like nobody's really making a load of cash on phones right now. I'm sure Apple is still making huge profits, even though it looks like their new iPhone just isn't selling too well. But as far as the profit goes, I'm sure they're still reaping the rewards there.
I was
they're
watching.
Pretty much the only ones.
I was watching some Apple shills at lunch today online, and they're all about poo-pooing who cares the SE thing. But I'm going to upgrade, and these people are actively, they're very popular people, and they're all about the stock, and there they are shilling, saying that they're going, well, I'm definitely going to get the iPhone 7 when it comes out, because it's time, and that's this and that and the other thing. All the time pumping the stock, and like I say, being a shill. And it's just so transparent, kind of sad looking. And it's the kind of thing that just can't go on. It's something's going to happen. You know, the upgrade cycle is lowering. It's not getting better for those guys. But it's a disgusting thing to watch.
That's where BlackBerry is winning, you know, because they, at this point, and I mean, that's what got them in the position they were in, and now we're seeing with these other OEMs is that all their eggs were in one basket. You know, they were a device manufacturer, and they've worked very hard to not be a device manufacturer while still manufacturing devices, right? So, so I mean, we're at a great point for BlackBerry, and I keep going back to just what we're seeing from the community. We said it last week. We'll say it again. BlackBerry does not need to make their income off of devices. They've got other areas where they're making their income, and their devices honestly could, if it came to that point, be a value add, like what Amazon does with their Kindles. You know, as long as they're not losing money on it, it is then sight to see them continue making the devices. And the important thing to remember is that BlackBerry people like BlackBerry phones. You know, they don't want to stop making devices. While their focus has changed, they're just like us. They're still BlackBerry phone fan.
Yeah. Roy, you wanted to jump in there?
BlackBerry is a software company with a hardware division. This is how I look at it. BlackBerry will not stop making devices for what I see in the future, because governments still depend on BlackBerry devices. When you make devices, it's easy to sell ad hoc, BAS, any other companies, Watchdogs, or any other companies they bought. And for September deadline, BlackBerry will release in September, October the Hamburg, or the full touch device. So after this release, it needs another 1-2 years to see if it's getting profitable or break even. So for at least 2 years, I don't see how Chen is closing the hardware division. So any talk about division hardware death is too early.
It is, and maybe, okay, I want to expand on that and agree with Roy, and say maybe there's another point in Chen's road trip here. He desperately wants to keep the hardware division alive, and I'm extrapolating. This is me talking, not him, but I'm desperate. He's desperate to keep the hardware division alive, because that's the only way that you can guarantee security end-to-end to your most important clients. And that is today a BB10 thing. That's the most secure thing. And it may be one day, I don't know, that they can do that with Android. That to me is a monumental and Herculean task. But BlackBerry is its strongest with hardware. And I think everybody knows that. Anybody who uses it seriously knows that. As users, Department of Defense, you know, kind of customers, they know how secure it is end-to-end. So without that hardware there, you've lost, you know, there's a chink in your armor. So if I was Chen, I'd be desperate to keep the hardware thing going. You need it. You want it. It's the best thing for your customers.
It's the end-to-end solution.
It is.
If you provide software, you need to provide hardware as well.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And, you know, hopping on the Apple bandwagon again there they are with their hardware and their software controlling all of that. But they have never, until recently, given a rat's ass about security at all. You know, I don't want to get into the recent grandstanding, which was a balloon that burst hilariously, but you know, they have no solution. They have absolutely nothing. They have no MDM. They have no EMM solution. They have nothing.
They still don't have a IoT. And
Yeah, the most secure iPhone is running on BES.
with
And let's not
technology
forget at
container.
the last at their last, was it their earnings call or whatever, that they made it a point that they were going to start looking at getting into services. You know, I mean, they're
Right.
not there; they don't have them, but they even
No, I know.
recognize that that is necessary today.
Yeah,
And
they
I
have
mean, you look at-
services. They have iTunes.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
Groove headsets or whatever the
They
frick,
maybe
Beats
music
or whatever.
they have Apple Music or something like this.
Yeah, right.
It's
You know,
still-
and
it's
they have
still not enough.
services, but that's like I was saying last week. I'll bet Cook looks at Chen and goes, "Holy crap! I need to do something like that." You guys are scooping up all the toys, and Chen he's scooping up all the toys so that he can go to Fortune 500 XYZ and say, "I've got this for you. I've got this for you. I've got this for you, and I've got this for you." And any combination of it, I can get you into it. Software as a service, monthly revenue, I've got it. And Apple got nothing except for iTunes and Apple Music.
They
That's
have worms in the Apple.
So security, there's one company that does it well, and that's why we're here.
The business is changing, and Chin even said that in one interview, though, going back to the security, that you could build the most secure phone in the world, and I'm totally paraphrasing, but he said that if you only did that, you wouldn't make money. And I think BlackBerry, that shows exactly why they've brought out this Android phone and why they're doing these other things. But the nature of the business has completely changed. The smartphone market is saturated. People aren't upgrading like they used to, and that the upgrades aren't what they used to be. Used to, you get a phone this year compared to last year, it was a big difference, and that's just not the case anymore. Maybe the technology hasn't kept up with our expectations. So BlackBerry's seen this. They are taking other routes to become a sustainable, profitable company. And the others are just now catching on. The whole point of this conversation that I wanted to make is the people that we see, and a lot of these people are people that we know. We are a small community. We have been for years. We know each other. I saw on someone else's channel the other day, and it really disappointed me. Someone that used to be in our groups, a friend of ours, someone was basically trolling the brand. You see it, and saying that BlackBerry's done for blah blah blah, and we typically just ignore those or get frustrated by it. But there's someone we know who's a BlackBerry fan, who her comment was, "I know, and that's why I'm on an S7 now." And it's like, people are listening to this now. They're wavering in what they know, and they're making these decisions. So she jumped from a great BlackBerry phone onto a Samsung Android phone, which she was somebody that, and I'll tell you who it was later, Dave, but she didn't like Android. She didn't like Android. She's now on an S7. She could have jumped onto a BlackBerry Priv, which is a great phone, has a lot of the BlackBerry that she knows and loves in it, and is getting its security updates. Samsung's not. I'm just like, you got to think about it, because BlackBerry's not going anywhere. And the reasons that people are coming up with to leave the platform just aren't true.
Yeah, I mean, what's true for me is not necessarily true for you. And that is the difference between making a decision and what is actually reality. There's a whole pile of people that are pissed off Samsung users that probably aren't going to get Marshmallow on a Note 4 or whatever. I can't remember what the cutoff is. I think a Note 4 doesn't get it. And when you look at a Note 4 and you look at the specs, you go, crap, that thing should be able to handle Marshmallow in a heartbeat. But I don't think that it's a candidate for Marshmallow release. So
I was searching earlier today when I was thinking about having this topic, and I ended up I was just looking for Samsung updates and their security updates. I just searched it, and it of course took me over to Android Central, where what's his name? Not Jerry, the other guy.
Phil.
Yeah, Phil. He had posted, and it was a month or two ago. It wasn't like this week. It wasn't recent, but it was a ways back, where he was talking about that issue. And he had a Samsung Note, a new one, and he was talking about Samsung's updates that they were saying that they were going to bring out, but he hadn't got one. I believe his last update, and I'm totally reaching back to lunchtime today, I think his was either in November or December, and he was talking about how Samsung states, and I went to their page and looked, and it does, that these updates are for select flagship phones. They actually say that on their site. And he's got a Note through, I believe he said Verizon, and he wasn't getting the updates. And it's like, okay, so what are the select flagships? This is someone obviously in the know in the Android world, and apparently he picked the wrong phone because he's not getting the updates. Now, he may have got an update since then. It's been a month or two. But, I mean, this is just what people need to realize when they're making these excuses for leaving the platform. They're going to be very upset when the next BlackBerry phones come out. They're going to be very upset when the next BB10 phone comes out and they realize that they've been sitting there spinning their wheels for this long and they didn't need to.
I guess there's a bunch of people that just react or knee-jerk react and make decisions without necessarily fully considering the outcome. I don't know. I'm a very patient person.
I'm not gonna call it knee jerking because of the people that I'm seeing saying this. Like the person I'm speaking about right now, she's not a knee jerker. She has been with us through thick and thin. But when you're constantly hearing it from every direction, like we've this week, we made it a point. We're deleting comments on our channel posts. If someone comes in with the sole purpose to sit there and rant and rave that BlackBerry's dead and Chen has cheated us all, well, they're not providing any part of the conversation, and all they're doing is marketing to try and get people to leave the brand, and we're not going to leave those on the posts. But the problem is you see that all over, and people just, I mean, I don't want to say that we need to get into Twitter wars. I don't want to say we need to get into channel wars, but those
Leave
of us
the wrecking ball. Leave the wrecking
ball
to Miley Cyrus, okay?
Ooh. Ooh.
Anyone? No?
You just cut me off at the knees there.
Well, we know how your mind works, obviously.
Yeah, Anyway,
you're right. I mean, come on. Don't come in and piss on my cornflakes and expect us to put up with it. Shut up.
The believers need to be out there being loud too, because those that are making it a point to spread anti-BlackBerry propaganda are flying loud right now. It's time for the believers to get a little louder. And I'm not saying go out there and have fights. Not saying just provide a different opinion, provide facts. When somebody says they're going to HTC, bring up their results. someone says that they're changing to a Samsung, ask them when the last update was for Samsung. There's so many facts that we can argue our point with without getting rude or screaming or hollering names and stuff like that. That's all
Or
true.
swearing. Yeah, because I would never swear.
In public? No.
Not me.
Oh well. I'm jumping off of my soapbox now.
What kind of soap is it?
Borax.
Right on. Borat is nice.
Yeah. No, you know, borax was made here in California. Just wanted to bring that up.
Excellent.
So,
Nice
you guys have
nice.
anything you wanna chip away at?
I have a good conversation with friends about WhatsApp encryption.
Oh, spill.
They said that now nobody can hack to their WhatsApp and read the messages. And I just said, man, WhatsApp is eating your data. They can read all of your messages, not when you send it, just when it's on your devices. So he deleted WhatsApp. It's my success.
Good.
Deleted. I missed that.
deleted.
You deleted what now?
My friend deleted WhatsApp. He installed
Oh, good.
BGM and Telegram.
Yeah. I don't get it. I mean, the idea that they rolled out end-to-end encryption, I guess it was it last week or early this week?
This week.
Is such a loss leader. It's hilarious. It ties in with the hilarity of Apple's, I can't get into the phone, and then the FBI just does, or whatever. People don't realize how much of their information gets leaked and shared and abused by WhatsApp, whether their messages are encrypted or not. It's just pathetic.
WhatsApp don't need to read your messages to know all about you.
Right.
They can know that you are texting your mother for 30 minutes. They don't have to know about what you are messaging, but they know what you are doing, where you are. And
yeah,
the
they've got
future
all that
of-
metadata. Plus, they've got your phone number. Plus, Facebook has your phone number. If you haven't noticed, if you log out of Facebook on your device, I don't care what the device is, and then you want to go log back in again, the very first thing it suggests is logging in with your phone number.
Yeah, and I
Now,
received
why is that?
I received a notification on my Facebook website, the Facebook page, that to make my page more secure, I can add my phone number.
Oh,
And
I know
just
more
think-
secure.
And I think how my phone number can make this page more secure.
It's
Did my phone
technically
number-
impossible. It's ridiculous. It's less secure. That's
Did my
such
phone
an
number-
asinine thing.
Did
It's-
my phone number can secure my page? He can fight with a gun?
Yeah,
What the hell my phone number is?
it's criminal, man. Somebody suggesting that it makes you more secure by giving them more information is you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What is your pantyhose size? Medium? Now it's yours. Now you're secure.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on, man. Yeah, give me more information so that's more secure for you. Give me more. I want more. Yeah. What's your wife's name? I don't know. What kind of car you drive? Come on. Give me some more. It's more secure that way. Ass.
Well, it's 9 p.m. here.
And 7
This is about the
a.m.
latest
here.
that we usually go. What time is it there, Roy?
7 a.m.
Oh, see?
You see the light.
How's the future?
Yeah. Yeah, what's happening, man?
Nothing the same.
It's funny, man. It's 9 p.m. here. I don't get it. And we're not even in the same country. I don't get it. What's going on? What's going on, man?
Let's call it, boys. We had a good night. We actually got Abby on here, Abhishek, and I'm actually really glad to know that I have pronounced his name right this whole time.
Yeah,
So,
I was
score one
impressed
for,
too.
one for me.
Yeah, I like that too. My grammar knowledge worked. That's awesome.
All right. So good night. We'll see you
Good
next
night.
week.
Yeah. Catch you later,
Enjoy.
peoples. Have a good weekend.